Hacksaw. 2x4, it is Hacksaw, tough guy. No one is the Hacksaw Hour. 2x4, it is Hacksaw, tough guy. No one is the Hacksaw Hour.
What's up, everybody? It's Marcus D'Angelo, and we are back for another episode of the Hacksaw Hour. And of course, I'm joined by the man himself, the man of the hour, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Jim, what's going on?
Good morning, Marcus. Did you wake up with a hoe?
Oh, I woke up with a hoe. You ready?
How'd you explain that to the wife? That's what I want to know. Holy smokes. You weren't on the road, I hope. Jeez, I tell you.
You ready? Are we doing a hoe?
We got a hoe. Are you kidding, brother? Ho!
That's how we got to start it that way, man. It gets me all pumped up. I'm ready.
It does kind of worry, I tell you. That's even when you've been on the road, you're on the road for 50 days and you're tired, you haven't had nothing but fast food and maybe an arena hot dog and a Diet Coke for dinner for the past 3 nights. And then you're back and you're lacing up your boots and the crowd's bad. There ain't nobody out there. You get to the curtain, you're like, oh, yeah, I need a 1x2. Forget the 2x4. You grab the 2x4, come through the curtain, give a ho! Boom, there it is. No matter what, if it's living room wrestling, that's what I call a bad crowd, where it's like, hi, Bob, Mike, how you doing over there? Everybody in the arena. We're in front of a big crowd. You give a hoe, you can start stomping around with a flag and a board. You get fired up. At least I do anyway. Even as an old timer, I get going. Knock it off, honey.
Heck yeah. And let me say, it's like, no matter what, it seems like anytime you come out there, no matter the size of the crowd, when you come out and you're excited, everybody else starts getting pumped up too.
Well, Crime Time, God bless Big Shad. They used to rib me all the time. They were like Hacksaw because I was with WWE when they were WWE,
Yeah.
And they're like, Hacksaw, every time you come out, the crowd goes crazy. It's unbelievable. But it's like, oh my God, Hacksaw Duggan, I thought he was dead. Wrestling humor.
Well, look, we're alive and well here on YouTube. We have made the switch from adfreeshows.com. If you want the first 8 episodes of the Hacksaw Hour, they live exclusively on adfreeshows.com. So get over there and sign up so that you can check those out. But now we're here.
My sisters will be glad.
That's right. More people get access to this. More people get to see you. And by the way, people are really happy to see what you're doing based on the reaction to that video that we put up, huh?
Yeah, a lot of folks like the YouTube thing. You started a YouTube channel for me, Marcus. Who would have thought that folks would be interested in that? But because everybody hears the horror stories. I think people like to hear a good time story. I have a great life going on here. That's why I hate Vince McMahon. No, at 70 years old, I travel the world signing autographs because of what Vince McMahon. He could have treated me better. But I think folks like seeing, out where I live, out in the country. I got dogs and cats, ducks and chickens. We had a turkey. Didn't last too long. He made it through Thanksgiving, though. That's not what happened. I knew you were thinking that, Marcus. No, he made it through Thanksgiving, but he broke his leg. So, that's it for a turkey. And then we had a pig before, too, but he didn't last too long, neither. And here in South Carolina, everybody come to visit like, hey, that's a good-looking pig. You going to eat that pig? I'm like, oh, it's a pet. It's got a name. That's a good-looking pig. That'd be a good barbecue, that pig.
Hey, don't eat my pet.
No, yeah, 2 daughters. Everything's got names, man. Are you kidding?
Now, was the turkey a pet as well?
Yeah, the turkey was Benz from Janis Joplin, Mercedes-Benz thing. Because we went down to Hogan's bar down there in Clearwater, and I had to do the karaoke, and all I could think of is Janis Joplin. Oh Lord, won't you buy me? How bad can you screw that up, right? And so we gave the turkey the name Benz.
Man,
yeah, it didn't last long.
Man, sorry you lost the turkey. Glad he didn't get
I'm
eaten,
living
though.
on a farm. You can't get too attached, For a while, we live on this road, but I said we should change the name to it to Fat Fox Lane. We were losing a chicken every other day for a while until we got the fences fixed up. But or even hawks. Hawks can really hit the chickens pretty good because we let them run loose, you know.
Oh, okay. So every once in a while, one of them will be missing.
When it comes up missing. But you do get attached. You have to do like Smiley and Peachy, Stretch the Rooster. They have personalities. It's fun to watch the whole dynamics of the barnyard. It's like being in a WWE dressing room. You know, one big cock walking around. Cock-a-doodle-doo! You know, all the hens like, oh, great.
I guess he would be the Andre of the bunch if we're breaking it down that
Uh,
way.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
Well, look, like I said, everybody's loving what we're doing there on YouTube. If you're seeing this as a clip, it's youtube.com/@ everybody's got a pod. Jim and Ted DiBiase are sharing the space there on YouTube. And man, we're growing by leaps and bounds. And I'm excited to continue to grow. And I'm excited for this episode, Jim, because this is going to be our first Hacksaw Mailbag on the YouTube channel, where we turn it over to the listeners and let them ask you a bunch of questions. And man, they delivered if you're ready to get into these.
Well, we're looking forward to it, buddy.
All right. Well, the first one is something I have actually been wanting to ask you about, and somebody beat me to it. Edward asks, can you tell us about your experience working on the Harry and the Hendersons TV show?
Yeah, Harry and the Hendersons. That's I've read for a few movies. The Water Boy. They took the big show. You know, I could understand. I'm not real good at the delivering lines, as you can tell by my few experiences on the WWE. Hi, I'm Hacksaw Duggan. I think it was hard to deliver lines. But anyway, I was a young kid. They're like, here, Harry and the Hendersons are going to be a special guest star on the TV show, Harry and the Hendersons. And we were out in, I think it was on our honeymoon, right after our wedding. And we went out to Hawaii, and I studied my lines. I studied them. And I was like, come on, let's go win a kayak or whatever you call it, outriggers. Right? I'm studying, you know. I didn't study that much, all right. But I thought I had it down anyway, pretty good. And we get there for the big read through for the thing. All the TV stars are there, and they come in. We all sit down. A guy comes in, script change.
Oh, great.
Oh my God. Of course, I played myself, so it wasn't a stretch, you know.
Did you get to improvise a little bit?
No, I played it straight. Yeah, it was fun. Harry, he was a wrestling fan. I guess he became. I can't really think of the whole premise of the show now.
Yeah, if I remember right, it was just, there was a wrestling event in town or something like that, and then you happened to be there and you came to their house, and it was.
Yeah, I was doing a commercial. I was doing a commercial for the guy Harry's dad, where he lived, the father, and
Yeah.
the kid was a big wrestling fan.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, Deborah, I got it, honey. Thanks.
We need her to keep.
Like having Vince talk to you on the headset, you know.
Well, man, it was cool. And afterwards, did you ever consider trying to see about more acting work?
No, like I said, I wasn't really comfortable acting. I enjoyed wrestling. Except that Blockbuster, everybody saw that one, Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies. I nailed that part so well. I'm surprised. I mean, okay, the movie wasn't that great, but for acting, nobody could have played Hacksaw Duggan better than that.
Well, man, yeah, you had it down.
I had the role nail, and then Piper called me, says, "Duggan, you want to do a movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, shit. Are you kidding, Piper? And I show up to Parkersburg, West Virginia. I'm like, a guy picks me up in a beat up station wagon. It's not exactly what I was thinking, Pipe, but we had a good time. We had a lot of fun. Folks in Parkersburg were great too.
There's a great image of you out there as a zombie hacksaw. We'll have to share it online because, man, it is something else. All right, next up is Chris Doherty, who asks, "What's the worst motel you've ever stayed in?" I know that used to be almost like a competition with the guys back in the day, right?
Yeah. Well, because you have to pay for how many people stayed in the hotel back in the day. You have one guy in a room or two guys in a room. We'd have six guys in a room. Everybody be laying down in the car. Get down. Send Bobby Fulton in there. Yeah, room for one. have the mattress down, have the bed spring somewhere else. The guy sleeping all over on the floor and stuff. Yeah, but I tell you, some of those the hardest times were some of the closest times. We are all kind of suffering through it together. And the guys got to be all in the car all the time. Like I said, it was called healing a room. You'd heal the room. One guy had room for one. But Alamo Plaza was pretty bad. Yeah, but there's been some rough ones. That's for sure. And a lot of times, especially because you're on the road so much, you only got a couple of hours. It's easier just to sleep in the car. If you're flying out early in the morning, you got to go through security and stuff. Instead of just getting a hotel for so few hours, just sleep in the car.
Oh man,
it's part of the business.
What
happened? That next injury? How did it happen?
That's what I was
Sleeping
just
in
gonna
cars
say.
and airplanes.
You got to be waking up feeling like really stiff, and then you got to go take bumps. Like, man, that's rough.
It was different back then, different time. Yeah, like I said, the boys were closer too.
Ryan B. Caldwell is up next. He asks, when you took us on tour of your home, I noticed that you own a few firearms. Besides home defense and protection, do you target, shoot, or hunt?
I used to hunt quite a bit when I was younger, before I actually started wrestling. I think I only been hunting once or twice, even that was over 30 years ago. When I grew up in upstate New York, above Albany, up in the Adirondack Mountains. So deer hunting, even though my dad, who was chief of police, he never hunted or fished. I got the hunting bug. I used to enjoy deer hunting and had an old 30-30 lever action Winchester that I used to use up there. And also I used to hunt woodchucks. Nowadays, me and my buddy Hopkins and Askew, the guys that showed up to see me in the hospital when I was up there. Even nowadays, we're still friends. Steve Scarcelletta Scratch, Kim Hopkins, and John Askew. 3 friends from Askew won the wrestling championship at 98 pounds. I won it, our section. I won it at unlimited. So there's a picture of John sitting on my arm as we went to the States. And I won the States, and John got beat, but he went to the States. But I still keep a track with those guys. But we used to go to school, and we'd have like a miniature arsenal in our car. Yeah, because you might have 2 or 3 guns, but you only had 4 or 5 rounds for each gun. You had to bring a bunch of different guns, but I enjoyed it. Now I grew up with my dad being chief of police back in the day. I went to doing a lot of handgun shooting. So I got pretty decent with a handgun. And I used to get all my 38 wad cutter target ammunition for free.
Oh, nice.
And even nowadays, I like to shoot handguns. And I have a nice collection of handguns.
Yeah, and after that home invasion, you can't have too many guns. I think that we proved that, right?
Well, I think I was joking with you earlier, since I had that home invasion. Hold on with me, folks. Had to upgrade.
That is a nice upgrade. You're ready.
Got an AR-15. This was my first AR. But for folks out there that know guns and weapons, I have a Mini 14, which has a wood stock, has the same action, shoots the same amount of rounds as fast as this. It's just in a different package. But just because this is an AR, it's got such a stigma about it. My hunting rifle, Mini 14, a Ruger Mini 14, shoots the same round at the same velocity, and it's many rounds per minute. It's
wow.
amazing it's got such a bad reputation, but it's a fun gun to shoot. I learned one thing about all this stuff with the home invasion. One thing works better than anything else, brother. Oh!
That's all you need, brother.
Hey, I saw it on TNA or something, and there was a kid with a 2x4 running around.
Was there?
Yeah, he hit some big guy with a 2x4. Did it? Brother, if you're going to carry a 2x4, be a man, put a little bass in your voice, stomp on down to the ring, and use a 2x4 like a man. this kid, he runs down to the ring. I don't know who he was. It was an AEW, I think. He runs down to the ring. He rolls in the ring. There's some monster in the ring. Boom. Monster don't sell at all. Hey, I knocked Andre the Giant out with a 2x4. If it's your gimmick, kid, get your own gimmick over, brother. Lay it in. Especially nowadays, you know. Hey, you really laid it in. It looks great. But I was going through, I caught an AEW show, and a kid rolled out with a 2x4, and I said, I got to watch this. And,
Oh, no.
I think he got goozled at the end, too, you know. Because I would have goozled him at 70.
We got to figure out who this was, so you can
I'll
educate
probably
him
get.
on
I'm
the way.
doing the cruise. I'll probably get thrown off the boat. Shit. I
Would you
won't
want?
recognize the guy. Hey, Hacksaw. Hey.
Heard you were talking smack, Hacksaw.
Yeah. Huh?
Now, would you want somebody to start carrying around the 2x4, or do you feel like that would be gimmick infringement?
No, it doesn't really matter. But like I said, man, you know, shit, make the gimmick look good, brother. Christ. But it says whoever does, like, you know, people are like, well, don't use the DDT.
Oh,
I'm like, it's, yeah, or don't, you know, mine is a running clothesline. They don't want you to use, everything's repetitive.
yep.
I'm surprised. I think before the Big Show and a couple guys carried a 2x4 as a group, but that didn't work. And the way this kid worked with it, I don't think it's going to work neither. You know, get some big burly guy that's, you know, proud of carrying the 2x4, stomp on down there, you know. But be a man and carry a board like the board's supposed to be carried. You know, great. It's not an urn.
You got to swing that damn thing. I'm
Yeah,
with you, man.
brother.
Yeah, let me
So
say,
if I disappear on the boat, brother,
I'll
start
put
an
out
investigation.
I'll put out an SOS.
Hey,
We got
hey, honey, wait.
we got Curtis Van Root up next. When did you know it was time to retire from wrestling?
Oh, shoot. Well, I went all the way to, I had the heart issue, you know. That was a pretty good giveaway.
When did you have the heart issue?
Oh, man. But, no, because I wrestled as long as I could, you know. And it's funny because when I broke in, which now the Iron Claw movie is so hot, that's pretty much the time I broke in. And I broke in with Fritz. You know, Fritz gave me the gift of pro wrestling. And I went down there and I saw Fritz wrestling. And I'm like, geez, the old timers wrestling? Because I didn't understand wrestling at all. I'm like, holy smokes. And even I was almost 65, and I'm still in the ring doing the indie shows. You know, you do full circle. You start off on the indie shows, you work your way up, you hit it, boom, you're at the Superdome, Sky Dome, boom, you work way back. Old timers finish up doing the indies again, you know. It's a cycle almost. But I enjoyed the indies. But I was out there, and I tell the young guys, I said, you know, at 65, I have no physical attributes left at all. But I can still entertain a crowd, tough guy. I can still get everybody in the place stand up cheering, USA! Because I believe it. They believe it. You know, you got to have ring presence. You know, you got to have something more than taking bumps. So I worked as long until my health issues wouldn't let me. Now, the company now, went to WWE. I stuck around and they gave me my notice. Yeah, because that was the deal. You know, Russo said, well, I was doing Duggan a favor, holding on to the Duggan at WCW. I'm like, well, that's funny. You know, when WCW went down, Russo, all his top guys, where'd they go?
Oh, they like rats
They
off a
all
sinking
went
ship.
home.
Yep.
Hacksaw went up to WWE and stomped around for 3 or 4 or 5 more years up there with the WWE, man. So, you know. But
Yep.
yeah, I enjoyed being in the ring. I think that's what I tell the young guys. I enjoy being, and that feels the crowd knows I enjoy it, and they're enjoying me enjoying it. And yeah, and be yourself. You know, as we talked before, that's a great gimmick. I'm like, what gimmick you talking about? When I wear a tie?
Yeah, there's some longevity in what you do, and let me say, man, it was last year actually on the Jericho Cruise, which is coming up for you here. You came out to the ring during a match, and you had your 2x4 with you, and even at 69 years old, you whipped him into a frenzy out there again. So it's like, man,
I
there's
don't,
something to be.
I don't know about whipping any frenzies, but I got a good pop. I
Yeah.
sure do. Even at appearances, I mean, top guys are top guys, but I'm always glad to have the pop. I'm always appreciative of the folks seeing me. Hopefully, it's not because of the Crime Times line. But I still love getting out there, and that's why I have fun at the Comic Cons. I enjoy being with the people, and I appreciate them. Jericho says Hacksaw. He's going to run down and hit the young guys. I think they were Billy Gunn's kids with a 2x4. So I like wrestled three generations. I wrestled three generations of innings, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I told Kurt I'll walk down as fast as I can. Ain't no running involved in this one, brother.
Well, you got him with the two
You
by
might
four.
start me early, Like, a minute after they ring the bell. Go, Duggan.
Well, you got him with the 2x4, and it was a fun moment. That video's out there online for anybody who wants to go see it. Rudgers0727 asks, when you heard that you were going to win the first Royal Rumble in 1988, how did you react? Did you feel like you'd made it, Jim?
Yeah, I was shocked. Yeah, I really was. I tell you, because you're working so much back then, no one realized how big the Royal Rumble was going to come, uh, going to become. It's probably the second largest pay-per-view except Royal WrestleMania, of course. But back then, we had no idea where it was going. It was just another show, another day on the road. We did that show. We went somewhere else the next day. We wrestled the day before. We wrestled the day after. We had no idea what it was going to become, nor we realized how big WWF would become. But yeah, I got to the arena, and you look at the card, and I'm still pretty new. And you get up, you get the board. I got to go up to the board. You're like, Doug, I'm, I'm winning this. Hey, Jay, look at this. Daddy, come here. Yeah, nobody was more surprised in that building than me that I won that Royal Rumble. And of course, it's the biggest feather in my cap, and it's something I'll carry forever, man. But yeah, I felt just being part of WWF is the big time. You make it in New York, you make it there, you can make it anywhere. And as a competitive business I was, I never saw myself as world champion. I never did. Even Mid South, I never saw myself as a champion. Brody kind of instilled that. You don't need to win the match, as long as you win the fight, tough guy. So he was a heel, right? So he could put anybody over 1, 2, 3, get up, jump the baby face, beat the devil out of the get his heat after the match.
Yep.
So yeah, I was never really belt driven. I was glad to be part of the show. As I said on my YouTube deal, let's think of it as a band. You got Hogan and Flair doing the lead singing. I'm back there playing the drums. I'm Ringo, brother.
Still a good
40
spot.
years back there jamming, and it was a good spot. I beat everybody, but guys who beat me went on to go to Hulkster.
Yep. And that's what Jake always said too, he was like, I was never really going to be champion. He was like, but the spot I was in was good because it's like, I'm still a featured act and I get to put people over and make them look good. So they're ready for guys
Yeah,
like
you're part
Warrior
of
or
the
Hogan.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you don't look at it's different than the athletics.
Yep.
And that's hard for a guy coming out of competitive sports and not watching wrestling, not liking wrestling. I had no idea what wrestling was till Fritz von Erich brought me to the sportatorium, and that's why I said I start and they're like, Doug, and this guy's going to beat you in 8 minutes. Well, I can beat him. I know I can beat him, brother. Or it was sir back then. I know I can beat him, sir. Big Jim Duggan, short hair, clean shaven, right out of the NFL. Yeah, okay, I'll wrestle with him. I'm New York State champ, you know.
So did you actually
And
thought
the
it was
guy I'm
a
wrestling going, oh Jesus.
oh god. So you actually thought it was a shoot when you first got into it?
Well, I didn't think it was a shoot, but I didn't really understand it. I get beat, I jump right up. Yeah, he didn't really beat me.
Ah, I gotcha.
It
That
just was
competitive
it
edge.
was hard to accept it what it was. Yeah, it was more than I knew it wasn't a shoot, but it just was hard to play that character to get beat, you know. So like when I first broke in, I was telling my family, "Well, I'm a wrestler now." My sister were like, "No." I said, "Well, but I'll never beg. You'll never see me beg." And then I was a bad guy. I'm like, "No, don't hit me."
Man,
Give the guy the nut shot, give him the nut shot.
it is funny looking back on it because I mean you are coming from legitimate, is quote unquote legitimate athletics where I mean you're used to going out there and your only objective is win win win. That's all you care about, all you want to do, and now all of a sudden it's like okay, now your objective is get the match over, get your opponent over.
Yeah,
You know,
it took me a while to. That's why I bounced around. Like I said, I went to the down to Sportatorium, went for WWF, Hawaii, Georgia, Pensacola, San Antonio. It wasn't until I went to Mid South and hooked up with Theodore DiBiase is where I learned how to wrestle, learned the business. San Antonio, I started to get the idea. Mid South is when I understood the business.
Next up, we've got Strong Island NYG who asks, "Who is the real life toughest SOB you worked or traveled with? Who's the baddest dude you were out and about with, Jim?"
Well, Haku's got the worst reputation and probably the nicest guy. And that guy I've known since like 1979. Me and Haku were working in Hawaii for High Chief Peter Maivia, making $40 a week, living at the Chateau Blue. Oh,
40.
down on Hotel Street, downtown Honolulu. Pimps and prostitutes and wrestlers. I mean,
Oh man.
it was a rough. I took Deborah there years later, and I'm like, she says, "Don't get out of the car." We live here. It's Chateau Blue. Are you kidding? This is where we live. But anyway, Haku was there as Tamatanga, and I was the convict. I had the mask on, wrestling as a convict. And I told you the story, because I was a young guy trying to dress up the character of the convict. I got guys like Harley Race and Andre, people like that coming through. So
hmm
I got this white hood, white mask. I'm like, I'll put C's on it for the convict. Fans will love it, right? Like I'm stomping down with a convict, and people are like, "Convict, why'd you put those ears on your mask?" I said, "They're not ears, they're C's for the convict." And then Andre came through when it was time for me to leave, man. I was there for about 5, 6 months. Andre came through and he unmasked me, he tore my mask off. And everybody in the crowd's like, yeah.
Just some guy.
Who's this punk kid?
Yeah.
But then that years later, Andre remembered that and did me the favor. Yeah, so I got to meet Andre as a real young guy. But Haku, yeah, he was a tough guy back then, tough guy, and he was a jerk magnet. I mean, you walk into a bar, there's 20 of the boys, you got one asshole. He's like, there's Haku.
Of all the people.
And Haku, because I've known him forever, I get along with the guy, still do, right? He grabbed me, goes, first I kill you, then I eat you. And I grabbed the guy, come here, buddy, a couple generations ago, your liver'd be on the stick, it's not a real big stretch. This guy may really eat your butt.
Were you
But
there when he
story is he bit that guy in Baltimore, but the guy sued him it really, really hurt Haku financially. Recovered great. He's one of the success stories of the business, but a real tough guy. But it was a snake pit of tough guys. There was not a walk in the park. It was a different generation of guys. They came up the hard way. Yeah, that's why you didn't have a whole lot of fights because you're not going to walk away clean.
Right.
Most of the guys are going to get theirs in too. And so nobody wanted, it's not that MMA stuff. I
Were
was
you
master of ceremony at one up in Montreal, an MMA fight. And backstage is like being in a car wreck. Oh, Mr. Duggan, I won. Good job, young guy. Yeah, here's your $100 payoff.
Oh man, no
And
thank
then
you.
go, oh, but yeah, so there was a snake pit of tough guys, and that's why, like Mid-South, you couldn't lose a bar fight. You lost a bar fight. That's supposedly why Orndorff got king, and he lost a bar fight, which I thought, was kind of stupid.
Man, Paul Orndorff, we always hear what a tough as nails guy he was. Hard
Well,
to
that
imagine.
story with him and I'm not. I shouldn't probably say it's Paul, but I'm not 100% sure it was Paul. So, but yeah, there's that story where him and Vader.
Were you there for that?
Yeah, I sure was. Yeah.
What can you tell us about it?
I think as bad as Orndorff put he had flip flops on. Not when you're putting the boots to somebody, it's hard to, flip.
So
it's like putting them like that. But he was putting the flip flops to him pretty good. And before he got broke up, but he did too. He dropped him with one shot, man. I think Vader was more embarrassed than hurt. Tell you the truth, man. And it humbled him, which he needed. Vader was a bully. He bullied people that he could.
Now I know that you got you worked with Vader a number of times before he left the company. Did you ever get crossways with him?
Nope, but we worked stiff together with each other. There's some match, I want to say Daytona Beach. There's got to be a pay-per-view. And even Terry Taylor mentioned after it was, I'd step it up. I'd knock off the silly shit when I was working with Vader.
Oh, I gotcha. So it turned a little.
It wasn't anything open, but it just wasn't my silly kind of match. Yeah, Vader, you had to give back. Yeah, you can't let it, he'd run over you if he could.
A little closer to your Mid-South style when you got in there with Vader.
Yeah. I hope maybe one time you can find that match, brother.
Yeah, I would like. I think you guys wrestled at Starrcade. That might be the one.
That might be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't know.
Do you remember what Vader did to piss off Paul Orndorff that bad that he would knock him out?
There's something about not doing an interview. Yeah, and they came to get Vader a couple times and he was kind of a prima donna, and he's like, "I'll be there in a minute. I'll be there," and he gave Orndorff some shit, and I think he pushed Orndorff or something.
Yeah,
he might have even popped him, but Orndorff dropped him, and then it was. If he had boots on, he would have worked him over big time.
If anybody can be a badass, if anybody can be a badass in flip flops, it's Orndorff.
Yeah, but he had no trouble. So I'm not sure about that Mid-South story. That would be hearsay.
Oh, okay. Austin 72316 asks, did Hacksaw ever go on Arsenio Hall or any other late night shows?
Yeah, I was on one late night show. It was in between hosts that lasted for a while. But yeah, I did one late night appearance, and actually, I thought it worked better because I told you when we did the VHS awards, we had the big VHS awards, all Hollywood people were out in Las Vegas, red carpet, the spotlights are going around. I pull up in a big stretch limo. I get out, I got a tuxedo T-shirt, and my 2x4's got a bow tie on it. And we're sitting there at all these Hollywood people, and it was the best sports video of the year award. Oh, WWF, and accepted as Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So I stand up, I got my 2x4 on my shoulder, I'm in the banquet hall, I get, "Ta!"
No
Nothing,
noise.
not a sound. So
Oh,
now I go up on stage, I'm like, come on, folks, one time, all together. Ho, ho. Rick, 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 Rick. I go up, I get it. Thank you very much. But the show, I think it was a Tonight Show. That me and my producer. Deborah, what Tonight Show did I do, you know? What do you think? But anyways, at the late night show I did, I came out, boom, hold the whole place, hold. I got a great reception, and the jabroni guy that followed me, came out and did the whole. He was trying to, mock it, but it didn't work.
take that, buddy.
But we'll have to find it for you, brother.
Yeah, I think I've seen
The
that one.
late night show.
The late
Thank
night
you.
show. Yes. I think I've seen that one. I'll have to look it up and put it on.
Obviously, wasn't a real big one, man.
Now, I know that because of your status, you got to be around a lot of celebrities. Like you were at this event for the VHS thing. Um, have you ever been starstruck whenever you've met a celebrity?
A little bit. I was excited to see Ben Davison. I don't know if you know who Ben Davison is. He was a defensive lineman for the Oakland Raiders
Yes.
back in the 60s. And me and my dad used to be big Green Bay Packer fans. Ray Nitschke and Bart Starr in Oakland, and Ben Davison would always crush Bart Starr. And my dad would go, oh, he's a bad bastard. So my dad, I love my dad. He was the best man at my wedding. So, all these years now, I'm doing all different kinds of things. Things move on in life. And they asked me to do the variety telethon in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm like, sure. And I walk in for it's a black tie affair. I walk in, me and Deborah all dressed up. And there standing is Ben Davison. I'm like, oh my God, it's Ben Davison. And I went and I called my pop and go, Pop, that bad bastard here. But he turned out to be an unbelievable gentleman. We got along great. We really did. We ended up doing that variety telethon for 20 years. Raised about $4 million a year. And let me do everything but sing. I did it for 20 years. They let me dance one time, but they never let me sing.
What a missed opportunity. You're not getting you out. You said before you were doing
Oh,
some
Lord,
karaoke.
won't you buy me?
See, it was right there. All right, Pecan the Great asks, "Hey Hacksaw, I cried as a kid when Yokozuna gave you the bonsai drops, especially when Mr. Fuji put the flag over you. Did you know how impactful that moment would be for fans, and what did you do with your time off?"
Recuperated. Yeah, that's one of those ones where people say, "Hey, Hacksaw, I saw you throw a punch. You missed the guy by that much." That's the one where Yoko hit me by that much. You don't always miss, and sometimes you hit. And it was a big crowd. The flag was down. I don't think Yoko would really see me, and yeah, he hurt me. That was one of those ones where I was injured. Yeah, a couple cracked ribs where I couldn't breathe too well.
Oh,
But
geez.
but Yoko and I were good buddies. I got along good with Yoko, and he didn't do it intentionally. That's why it's good to work with somebody. If it was Matt Bourne, I would have been I might back over him with my car or something. But the big Yoko, he didn't mean it. But I did not realize that the effect that it had on the fans. It's humbling to realize that folks were that upset about it, really. But that's one where I was hurt. That's where I loved carrying the flag and representing America. And, that me and Yoko, that was a great angle going.
And for the fans who aren't aware, Jim, you're like a real true blue patriot, like the guy that we see on screen. That's you. Like you love America and you love the American flag. So I mean, were there any objectives whenever they did drape the other flag over you?
No. I was kind of an office guy where I would do pretty much what they asked. I knew it'd be good business. I really did, and it wasn't, compared to a lot of stuff, it really wasn't disrespecting the flag that much. And it got Yoko over. It didn't do a whole lot for me. It wasn't like it was a big boost for my career, but we were putting Yoko over, and I got along with Yoko, and I was a company guy that way. Or yeah, okay, if that's what, because I didn't. You got that kid? I didn't.
Oh,
Yeah, lost my train of thought there, but yeah, I never thought of it was affecting. It was a character I was playing, so yeah, I didn't mind doing it.
yeah, and look,
What
I
is-
mean, the fact that whatever it is now, 31 years later, fans are still remember it and talk about it. Like, man, you guys did something right.
Well, that was the golden age of wrestling. It's amazing. Even young kids, they get to watch all that the old stuff. I think we like to call it classics. But yeah, it was a golden. It's fun. It's like watching old movies. I mean, every character you can still name, 10 characters without thinking about it. Junkyard Dog, Jake the Snake, Coco Beware, Bret Hart. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, we do those Comic Cons and autograph sessions, and folks line up. And that's I just love going out there and talking with the people. And it's amazing all the autograph stuff. That's why I'm not hot. That's to travel the world. I'm doing a cruise. Me and the wife are going on a cruise, and I'm going to sign. I got to do my stand-up show. I'm going to work the hell out of me. Holy smokes! And it's not a comedy show. It's like Foley show or Jake show. You just tell wrestling stories about wrestling Andre the Giant, traveling with Jake the Snake Roberts, those kind of things. And I do that for him and do an autograph session or something. Going on a 4 or 5 day cruise. It's been a great business.
Man, you can't beat it. Next up, we've got Jamie, who's got a pretty simple one. Jim, have you ever met The Rock?
Oh yeah, yep. I met The Rock when he was young, and I met him when he was older. And I'll tell you one story there at the Rock when we were at the Superdome. I don't remember what WrestleMania that was, but the one at the Dome. And I bring my family up close. I have 2 daughters, Celia and Rebecca, and they when they can, I bring them with me. Of course, I joke. I said they don't ever want to wrestle, until they go to WrestleMania. You're like, Dad, I want to wrestle. I'm like, well, everybody wants to wrestle at WrestleMania. Are you kidding? I said, you got to do Minot, North Dakota after a 10-hour drive with 30 people in the building. And then you still want to wrestle after that. But anyway, my one daughter, she didn't want to go down. We were going to go down to catering and get some. Imagine back then I was 280, before all my health issues. Going down to catering, hit up on catering. And we were going down to the bowels of the Superdome. And all of a sudden, boom, these doors burst open, and 2 or 3 guys come, and here comes The Rock through. And I give him the old gimmick, and I'm kind of like, you can see I got my daughters with me. He stops, and he comes over, and they're like, Rock, we got to go. He goes, oh, I want to say hello to Hacksaw and his family. Very cool, huh? And so, yeah, he met Deborah and Celia. Of course, Rebecca's like, what? That'll teach you.
Mr.
She didn't
Chance.
come with us. She didn't get to meet The Rock, but yeah. And then and that's a joke. I wrestled The Rock's grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia. I wrestled The Rock's father, Rocky Johnson. And I used to say, hey, make it The Rock at WrestleMania, but I ain't going to say that nowadays. Are you kidding?
I don't know. It's not too
But
late.
even back just a couple of years, that would be the line. And I hope to get The Rock at WrestleMania. Oh, no chance in hell.
Now, you said you were around him when he was a kid as well?
A little bit. He came through with the dressing room. Not where I spent a lot of time with him, but I knew who he was.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like
Yeah.
I'd bring my kids to the show, And that's one thing, family's family. Rebecca's got this autograph book. I was looking, it's got like Batista and everybody. I went through when I was working for WWE and had everybody sign it for Rebecca. I'm like, oh, it'll be like the Holy Grail one day of all those names that are in there. It's because everybody signed. That's one thing. When your family comes in, even I tell a story about Cena. I brought one of my sisters one time to the show, and he came over and introduced himself. Like, John, you don't really have to introduce yourself, but I thought what a class act that was to come over. Hey, John Cena, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
thought, yeah. So yeah, guys always. And so if somebody brings your kid down, yeah, get a picture. Come in here.
Well, what a good guy. John Cena, we do always hear like what a nice guy he is behind the scenes. So cool to hear you confirm that.
Yeah, and The Rock too. Rock was cool backstage.
Yeah, showing you some respect by breaking
Yeah.
away and saying hi. It's awesome.
And then they were, and the guys running them are like, oh Christ, we gotta go, dude. It's a pressure cooker backstage. You imagine live TV. I mean, back, they made a big deal. New NYPD live. We're going live. We go live every week. What are you talking about? Holy smokes, go live. So I'd be at the curtain. I'd be like, shit, and you got my 2x4? Where's my 2x4? That doesn't have a 2x4. Oh, I got it, guys. I got it.
Did you ever have to go out there without it? Like you just left it somewhere and
No,
didn't have
I've
it?
been known to be breaking up pallets and stuff out back. That was a big company. The big company they got where they would carry my, have boards on the truck for me, so I wouldn't have
nice.
to. Yeah. But WCW, you'll be able to find this, Marcus. WCW, they brought in big deal. They bring in a prop guy, right? Oh, and he gives me a gimmick 2x4, and so that was like a giant Gumby 2x4. It was weird, right? It wasn't like a regular 2x4 gimmick to break. It was a Gumby 2x4.
Like
So
rubber.
I went down. It was Dean Malenko and that crew, Chris Benoit. I think it
Oh, the
was that.
radicals.
I think it was that group of guys. Anyway, I run down and then boom! I hit one of them across the back, and it bends like a banana. It goes, "Wee!" and, and what I did, I should have dumped it, but I wasn't thinking. So now we're on TV, and I'm trying to straighten out my 2x4. That's what the Jericho always bust my chops about. Trying to straighten out the 2x4. It bit like a banana over his back. I mean,
Oh my
that was
gosh.
the last of the prop guy.
I gotta find
For
that
me,
one.
anyway. Yeah.
I mean, look, it feels like it would be just as effective to have an actual 2x4. Probably hurt the guy as much too, right?
Oh, they were trying to protect him. That was the deal. It was supposed to be a nice, soft gimmick 2x4, but I've been working with a board for years, so boom, I hit him with it, and it bent.
Oh man.
I've never heard that. I've never heard nobody with my 2x4. I don't think.
That actually brings up a good
Nope,
question.
I take that back. I hit a mascot in Detroit with it, and I hit him harder than I meant to at a basketball game. And every once in a while, somebody pops up and reminds me, "Hey, so and so, you hit him in the back of the head." I didn't mean to. He
Well,
had
how
this
long ago
big
was that?
mascot head. He had this huge mascot. It was one of the basketball team, Detroit NBA basketball team, Pistons.
Pistons.
Right. And so it was one of their mascots, and he had this huge head. So I'm thinking big, comfy head. So boom, I hit it in the back of the head. Well, all the mask was all the front part of it.
Oh
His head
no.
was right there at the back of it.
Ooh.
He took a header, and it was like, and those big basketball players are coming back on the court, and I'm like, shit, this guy ain't getting up. And then I went backstage, and everybody, the girls that throw out the t-shirts and all that kind of stuff, they're all just like glaring at me, and I'm like,
It's-
what happened? And the kid got ice on his head, but that's the only guy. I think that's the only guy I ever hurt with my 2x4.
You gotta lay it in, brother.
Unintentionally. Like I told the kid, get your gimmick over. If you get your gimmick over, back in Mid-South, Brody taught me that. I rolled in with that 2x4. If they stayed in there when I was swinging that 2x4, they were going to get their ass whacked. I mean, I got and that's when I hit the ring and they were supposed to powder. There was no lollygagging. They powdered out of there.
Man, I'm gonna see. I have to see if I can find that
Lollygagging.
clip. I want to see that clip now. You
Oh,
beating
wait.
up a mascot. All right, we'll do a couple more, and I'll let you go, Jim. And actually, this next question is related. Tim Gregor asks, "What is the worst that you have ever injured someone in the ring?"
Geez, I don't think I've heard anybody too bad in the ring. You know, I tell the story. Yeah, DiBiase. I'm working with Ted back in Mid South, and we were getting juice every night. We were getting juice every night, and double juice actually. He'd get juice, and I get juice, and so your head was like hamburger. It was so cut up from the razor blade. And back then, you just put a piece of white tape on it. That'd be the deal. And you'd be sitting on the airplane, you'd have that white tape on it, and your buddy walked by, goes, "That's still sore?" Oh, no. And of course, it opened up and blood started coming down, you know.
The stewardess freaking out.
Yeah, everybody else on the plane, oh my God, can I get you a napkin? But anyway, we were getting double juice every night. We're in, I remember exactly, we were in Lafayette, Louisiana on an afternoon show, a matinee show. And we do double shots on Saturday or Sunday. It was Saturday afternoon. There was nobody out there. You know, wrestlers outnumbered fans. And Big Cat Ernie Ladd comes in. He goes, "Hey, double sauce." And me and Teddy are both like, "Cat." I said, our heads are chewed up. He said, "Let us, have the night off." All right, no juice tonight. So me and Teddy, we get out there. We had this standard spot we did every night: 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, duck, ass bump. I 1, 2, 1, 2, boom. I hit Teddy in the nose. I'm not sure if I broke it, but it was like I cut his throat, man. It was his blood just pouring down his chest. So I'm not sure if I did break his nose, but if I did, that'd probably be the worst I actually hurt. Me and Dr. Death Steve Williams, we used to beat the hell out of each other, and Terry Gordy too, but it was all good fun. We were young guys, we enjoy it. We try to outtake a bigger bump back in the day, but unintentionally, probably, Ted, you'll have to ask him if that nose was actually broke.
I am going to ask Ted next time I talk to him because we had another
Because
question.
I'll tell you to this day, Ted DiBiase may be one of the greatest technical wrestlers in the sport.
Yep.
But he can't fight a lick. And when you get in the ring with Hacksaw Duggan, it's a fight, tough guy.
You know, what's funny, Jim, is as I was gathering these questions, I saw somebody ask, they were like, "Hey, was it your fault with Ted or was it Ted's fault for not ducking?" I was like, "What are they even talking about?" Now I know what they're talking about. It's that
Yeah,
story.
no, I potato Ted, yeah.
Sean Davies asks, "What did you think of Hogan's No Holds Barred movie?"
Ooh, I don't know if I saw it.
Him with Zeus.
Oh, I got along with Tiny. Zeus was a good guy.
Yeah.
Zeus was, when he was a big son of a gun. He passed away. I got to know him at different Comic Cons and stuff. But I forget who was Zeus. What was that matchup? It was Zeus and
It was Zeus and actually DiBiase, and I want to say it was like the Powers of Pain or something like that, and they were all against Hogan and his crew guys at Survivor Series. But yeah, it's from what I've
he carried a lot of heat, though. I mean, imagine that, guys working all the time, working in and out, day in, day out, especially back then, all the time. Now we got the big show coming up, the big blow off, and they bring in this movie star guy, and he gets the big payoff and stuff.
That's what I've heard, is that I think that somebody said he was making something like $1,000 a night, and he had limo service and 5-star hotels that they were putting him up in everywhere he went. So allegedly, some of the guys were not super happy about that.
Yeah, but if in his defense, if you can get it, take it, brother. And and they were giving it to him. He couldn't wrestle.
Oh no,
he wasn't there to wrestle. He was just there to look big and mean. And that cross-eyed gimmick, I'm like, "Hey, brother, you're stepping on my toes." with that cross-eyed thing. Now, knock that crap off.
Next thing he'll be sticking his tongue out and carrying
Yeah.
a
Go, woo! Woo!
You can take
Like,
that
Rick,
one.
are your trunks too tight or what? Woo!
All right, last question, and we'll let you go. Paul asks, "What city has the best food, and what was your go-to restaurant?"
Ooh, shoot. Yeah, I'm not a big gourmet guy. You know, I don't mind fast food. Actually, I like McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I'm one of those guys that I like McDonald's. And plus, you can find a McDonald's pretty much anywhere in the world. You know, these guys are like, I can only eat this. Oh, brother. Wait till you get to Europe or Japan, you're going to only eat that, man.
Yeah.
I
You know, a lot of the
mean,
guys, they would like go to like a McDonald's or something and say like no bun, just give me like the grilled chicken. Like a lot of guys were really crazy about like
yeah,
their
I
diet
mean, just
back.
take the chicken off the bun. Guys, they make a big deal. Oh, no bun for me. Like all those body guys. I love all those body guys, you know. And if you look at all the pictures, you're like, you know, everybody else is like, I haven't eaten in 3 days.
The rumor has it that Warrior used to go out and he would buy like a bag of chocolate chip cookies and he would like crumple them up and smell them and throw them in the trash. Did you ever hear about that?
No, but it wouldn't have surprised me, man. No.
That
Yeah,
seems like
but I
go-to
mean, hey,
comfort.
you train like that, you get those kind of results. I mean, you got to sacrifice like that to get to that point, man. And those guys did that. It was hard. That's why it was hard, like we said, to go to Europe because guys can only eat certain kind of things. You know, myself, like I said, you know, over in Japan, I'd see a McDonald's, I'd be like, "Oh, give me the McSquid sandwich, ooh, large fry." You at least get an idea what you're getting, you know. And those guys, they could hardly find the right kind of foods, you know, and find a gym in Europe. It was hard to do. So a lot of those guys didn't like going to Europe, the body guys.
And you stayed in pretty
Me,
good
I
shape.
enjoyed it.
You stayed in good shape and like you must have been hitting the gym pretty regularly.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time. I had a 505 bench. You know, everybody was pushing heavy iron back in the day. And I was, 280 pounds. I was a strong guy. Sure. My shot put record still stands, brother.
Not everybody can say
And
that.
that's what I said about my state winning the state championship in New York. The other guy was such a better wrestler. I mean, he's shooting takedowns and shit. I was just stronger than him and was able to hang on to him. So I've always had pretty decent strength.
Man, Jim, this was a great episode. I love taking all the listener questions. We have a bunch more, so we'll roll them over onto the next
Yeah, I
one.
like these questions. I like the questions.
Yeah, we kind of, you never know what direction we're going to go in.
We'll have to talk about Legend House one time, though. Have you seen it yet? We'll talk about that off the air, buddy.
Yep, I'm gonna watch it, and we're gonna do a full episode, maybe a couple episodes on Legends House. So I'm gonna watch it start to finish, and yeah, man, we got a lot of fun stuff coming up here on the Hacksaw Hour. However, I do want to remind everybody that if they want to get some merchandise from Jim, he's got a website set up right now with all this stuff. It's hacksawjimdugganshop.com.
Yeah, we got 2x4s, 8x10s. We're working on getting some more stuff. I noticed Jake. I think he has like even kitchen sinks and stuff he can buy on these. He comes to a Comic Con. He's got like a small trailer of merchandise. I'm like, brother,
Oh, dude,
we got to work on our merchandise. But most folks enjoy a 1 foot 2x4. You
look at that.
know, put whatever they want on it, and it's something unique. You know, everybody, like I said, everybody's got 8x10s. Everybody got wrestling cards. And 2x4 is something fun, man. And if you get a splinter in your thumb, you just go, oh.
There's a pro tip from Hacksaw, and yeah, guys, I mean that is a true centerpiece for your wrestling collection. A signed 2x4 from Hacksaw himself. Again, you can get those at hacksawjimdugganshop.com. Also, if you're looking for a little personal interaction with Hacksaw, you can go to cameo.com/hacksawjimduggan, and Jim, you'll send him a birthday message, personal message. You'll cut a promo on him, even, right?
They do all kinds of stuff. I tell you, Mother's Day is big, and some folks, I'm going to do a little pep talk to some folks. And I will tell you something else, Marcus. You know, I'm a cancer survivor. I talk about folks getting their checkups. You'd be surprised how many I get from families that someone's going through a challenge health wise to tell them the family's behind them. So I'm glad to do all kinds of cameos. And I get some really crazy questions too.
Man,
But different
so
than, hi, I'm so and so, movie star. Happy birthday.
yep, and
I
we
give
see
the
a
old, ho, hey folks, I'm Hacksaw Jim Duggan from the golden age of wrestling.
we see a lot of those online where fans will post like, "Oh, geez, I got this cameo from this guy, and he just said hi, and that was the end of it." Nope. Jim and Jake, these guys put like a ton of effort into their cameos, and they're really awesome. It's something. It's like the perfect gift or a gift to yourself. So yeah, again, it's cameo.com/hacksaw Jim Duggan. Jim, if somebody wants a romantic one for Valentine's Day, would you do that?
Oh, sure. I put on a little bit of Old Spice and because we were out having dinner and the guy asked Deborah, he goes, Deborah, aren't you worried about Jim being around all those young, beautiful divas? Deborah's like, no.
Are you like, hey?
You can't be a little worried. I mean, hi, I'm Jim. Is that Mace?
So guys, go make Jim your Valentine there at cameo.com/Hacksaw Jim Duggan. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with a new episode, but we're gonna have plenty of videos here on the YouTube channel. Man, Jim, I'm so glad you're part of the team with me and Ted.
Nice to be working with you, Marcus. I enjoy talking to you, young guy.
I like talking with you too, and we'll catch you guys next time right here
Wait a
on.
minute, baby. Let's do it, kid.
Here we go.
Oh!
We'll see you guys next time on the Hacksaw Hour.
Thanks, folks.